Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to a little bit of post-game discussion about this Reinhardt match. This is ranked, and this is Reinhardt on King's Row. Now, Reinhardt, as a hero, in my mind, is one of the ones that just relies so much on knowledge more than, actual, Twitch skill and Twitch ability here. So here you're going to see me do my Reinhardt defensive on King's Row, and the most important thing there is that I just barreled right through the choke. Now, of course, they weren't really contesting that choke point, but one big important thing, and to me the biggest mistakes that I see people make, is they stop in that choke. I would have barreled through to get round to the back of that statue, importantly. There Reinhardt messes up, he gets out of position, I can punish him for it. He wasted his charge, he got into a really nice position where he had to keep his barrier up because he was so low. Easy charge kill for me. This is going to be a fast first point take for our team. And the big thing I'm trying to do here is I'm not going to overstep my bounds. I'm going to try and avoid doing that. I'm just going to try and play conservatively and tankishly. Like, this is a ranked game. This is, I think, rank 68 is where I am at. I can't remember the average of this match, but it was a little bit below that, but still, I'm going to try and play conservatively. There's a couple of times when I don't, and you'll notice when I don't, and you'll notice that that's when things start to go wrong. Also, one thing that I've noticed here when I was watching this video back was that I should have brought my shield down for a bit longer. There's about 220 shield there that's just not been regenerated. Just a tiny little optimization, but it could matter, 200 hit points isn't anything to sort of sniff at. We hear the Reaper land. Like, I heard the Reaper land, that's why I turned around. It's a big, loud sound. If you hear a loud sound, it's an enemy, it's not one of yours. Never really hurts to check as well, because they weren't contesting that. And here's where I go ham. Why am I doing this? I don't know. I have no idea why I'm doing this. Like, watching the footage back, I was just like, why did I charge there? I could understand positioning there, maybe, and putting the barrier up and hoping there's some damage coming in from behind, but why I charged there, I will never know. Don't do that. Maybe I was just sort of riding the high from getting the kill. Luckily, it doesn't matter too much. Like, it's still very early in the street stages, so deaths for us aren't very punishing. Get a good fire strike there, some good damage coming out. What I'm looking for now is to get that barrier down. Now, you'll notice that we have a Hanzo. I'll comment more on that later, but what I'm looking for is, damage to come in and get rid of that barrier. We do get the nano boost on me, but their team actually does a really good job of sort of backing off. I noticed that I think a few of them went this way, sort of in the confusion of the dragon strike or the wolf strike, the puppy strike. They split up and they went everywhere, and I had a really hard time figuring out where exactly they went, where are the targets to kill, but we still gained tons of ground. I make sure that I go back onto the payload. I don't want to be going to the front where sort of Zarya is and where everyone's fighting when the payload's not moving. We bought all this space, the payload should be moving. To me, one of the biggest ways you can win in Overwatch, and this is going to be even more true when they put time bank or some kind of, time-based system into ranked, is having the payload consistently and constantly moving. The ability to just keep it going. So again, like I said, my objective here is to play conservatively. I'm going to be the one to determine where our team's front line is. I am the one who determines where we should be fighting. I am not going to let my team pull me around and force me into, taking positions where that Zarya is, for example. Zarya is fine up there. As long as I'm back here, they have a place to fall back to. I don't want to be up there because I'm the only one pushing this goddamn payload. And we need this payload to be moving, because that's really important. That's what's going to win us the game. I don't need to be overextending, I don't need to be advancing. Like, if I stood in front of them, what would I really be doing? If they had a Widowmaker, maybe it could be a bit different. But then it'd be more onto the team to pull back behind my barrier. Here we've got a Genji behind us. I've noticed that, we don't really have a good answer to this Genji. Like, oh, their Reinhardt fucks up so big there as well. He should have charged first, then Earth Shatter. I charge him back just to buy time off the Nano Boost, then turn Earth Shatter. Try and get a couple of targets for that, only managed to get one. Transcendence gonna nullify some of the effect of this Nano Boost. I try and get onto their Ana instead. Luckily the Transcendence runs out a bit, but their Reinhardt does to me what I did to them. Fair play to him. Like, good job to him. So hoping for a little bit more damage to come off the back of the team. I guess most of them retreated while I was going forward with the Nano Boost. Of course, I should be going forward with the Nano Boost because that's what you do with a Nano Boost. So we're in a really good position. Like, the payload is pretty damn close to the end. Ultimates are coming online. I'm not worried. I'm not going to try and advance much further than here. Again, I'm just going to provide a barrier for the Hanzo to get a bit of pick damage off, to try and get a pick maybe, but mostly I want damage into that barrier. I'm also looking for people to sort of, when they step into that choke point, boom, that's when I launch the fire strike because they can't dodge it. Good puppy strike there. I'm not going to go out after the team, you notice. I turn around and come back towards the payload. I thought I saw someone come, towards the payload, towards that back area, instead of just retreating back towards the rest of the team. They didn't, but hey. And again, not overstepping my boundaries, not going far away from the payload. I want to stay near it. No one's dealing with this Genji in the back, so I have to go and deal with it. Reinhardt's honestly pretty good at dealing with Genji because it's hard to dodge the hammer swings. But again, conservative play, staying with the payload, keeping the payload moving, and establishing a good, solid front line while protecting what I think is important and protecting where I think is important. And that's Reinhardt. That's like Reinhardt in a nutshell. Like, I play a very aggressive Reinhardt sometimes. I can play a super aggressive Reinhardt. But I've been reeling it in a little bit more, playing a little bit more conservatively, not letting the team dictate my decision making. This is where, you know, we got a minute and you can check people's profiles. And I checked this guy's profile. 45 hours on Hanzo, ladies and gentlemen. Rank 66. You can also check his statistics. What I'm looking for there is his accuracy. Like, to me, that's a big telling sign. I can't really see it in there, unfortunately. But yeah, there's an interesting psychology to the man that insta-locks Hanzo. I don't mind Hanzo on point 1 King's Row either. Like, I think Hanzo's actually pretty good on point 1 King's Row. You can use the Sonic Arrow to get a good vision past the first choke point. There's a lot of good areas to put Dragon Strikes down. He's honestly not too bad there. You've just got to be really damn good with him. Hanzo's a character that has a very high skill floor if you want to get utility out of him. Otherwise, you're just looking for random picks and random arrows, and that doesn't work so well. Still, where I'm going to be looking to defend here, defending on King's Row is interesting because you've got to bend and bend and bend and then snap back. So I'm going to be standing right here. Like, between the statue and the hotel is normally where I defend, unless, you know, they start getting... when they start pushing in, what I start doing is I move back across the point, and then I'll start looping back around towards the archway. What that does is it forces them to engage really far into us, where we have sightlines on them, but there's a Reinhardt barrier in the way. If they want to advance through past the hotel and statue, that's a narrow choke point. I can charge down it easily, get a quick kill on the wall that's just to the right there. If they go around the left side, then again, it's a kind of a narrow area. I can get a good charge off there, maybe, get a good fire strike, get a lot of damage coming out there. So it's sort of pulling them into me, and then letting me get a quick pick while letting the team do a lot of snipe damage. Now again, this is like one of the uses of Hanzo. Luckily, well, unluckily for us, luckily for them, they take a right side route, so they're protected from line of sight. And again, like, the moment they come through the choke, I can drop a fire strike. Now they have a Roadhog, so I need to be a little bit careful. My barrier is going to go down faster than theirs. They have a Roadhog, we don't. We do, I think, have a Reaper, but they're just going to deal so much more damage that my barrier is constantly going to be going down here. That's something that I've already sort of surrendered in my mind. They are going to be out DPSing our team. I need to be careful, I need to be thinking about my charges carefully, I need to be thinking about where I'm putting myself, I need to be making sure that people aren't getting easily hooked. Now Roadhog disappeared into the hotel, so this is where I start to pull back. I want to keep an eye on this side, and again, just pulling back, letting them engage into us. Reinhardt gets distracted by the turret. Big mistake. I can go in and get a charge. Unfortunately, I didn't get the pin. If I got the pin there, I might have been able to kill him. There's the sound barrier come off, so good job from Lucio. Block the Earth Shadow, he messes up this charge, then runs into there. Well, that's an easy kill for me. Like that. As Reinhardt, you really don't want to be doing that. Like, he went full aggressive. I guess he was on super low hit points. I think I only got like 1 on fire point or something, so maybe you're super low. This... oh god, that hurts to watch. This is one of the few instances where I go and watch the kill cam, because I was on about 250 hit points. He shouldn't have been able to one-shot me there, but then I watched this footage and he just blows my head clean off with a single shot. Well played by him. Bit silly by me, but this is the thing. And also watching the kill feed, like, Genji's just killed everyone. I think what happened was Nano Boost went on to Genji and Genji killed everyone. Now Genji's actually pretty good. He's doing a good job. He's doing what Genji should be doing. I'm not going to go and contest that. 2/3 already taken. No point running any further. No point dying. The important thing here for me is to not die. So all I'm going to do is just force that Reaper to back off, put a fire strike in when they go through the choke point, because hey, free damage is free damage. I don't mind eating that fire strike too much. Hanzo misses the Genji, but it doesn't matter too much. We've got enough damage to go in there, and then we're going to hold them at the choke point. Now the team does something here that tilts me a little bit, which is they advance all the way to this choke point. When you go all the way to that choke point, you're basically providing the enemy team with a line of sight onto your team, and you have to sort of play into them. Any deaths when you're stood that far up are going to cost us so much. Now we have a Symmetra, we have a teleporter, but it's still not a good reason to go that far forward. I want to try and pull the team back a little bit, so I go forward and then I start stepping back, especially as they start stepping forward. What I really want is damage on that barrier. If I had damage on that barrier, it'd be so good. I heard the Genji jump, so I sort of took a swing, but then he wasn't there. And I mistimed that just a tiny bit. I do manage to get the Roadhog, so I'm going to try and punish him, get a kill on him. Reinhardt charges me. Doesn't matter too much. We're getting a ton of kills in the background. I'm just going to ignore that Reinhardt. All I want to do is get back to the team. If Reinhardt follows me, the team can kill him. If I stay in there, there's a risk that I lose the 1 versus 1. RNG Hanzo, apparently. I'm guessing, like, I heard a Reaper ult go off in the back there, so I'm guessing that Hanzo just, you know, put an arrow in his brain while he was spamming die, die, die. This is aggro. This is super aggro. Luckily, like, I managed to hold him in it. But the moment I've committed to that charge is probably the moment I'm dead. There is the drop the beat as well, so all I'm doing here is I know I can't turn and run back to the team. All I'm trying to do here is literally build ultimate. That's all I want to do, and I've got 84% of it, so that's fine. I can get back nice and quickly with a teleporter, I can reposition myself, and hopefully we've got enough kills there to warrant that defense. But again, that was super aggro play. Like, I would have rather held the Graviton Surge and done a Graviton Dragon Strike, the Dragon Surge, in the choke point. Again, this is just good play out of there. Reinhardt, Nano Boost goes on. I'm not in position to put the barrier up to block that. I try and get some value off the back, and then I turn an Earth Shadow without looking, because I didn't think that they would be able to advance that far. That was a misestimation by me about how far the enemy team could advance up with that Nano surging. Reinhardt running forward and buying so much space. I turned around, tried to, thinking that, oh, well, 3 of their team members were lagging behind a bit. Don't get any value off the back of that, unfortunately, and die as a result. Good push by them. Big mistake by me not looking before I Earth Shadow. Like, that was just a reactionary Earth Shadow, where I think I was firing it by the time I was already turning, because you can't turn it, of course, while you fire it. Again, putting a Dragon Strike through a little tight choke point, but what I want to do is buy time for the team to regroup. What I'm looking to do also is try and bait their Reinhardt into doing something stupid, like trying to charge me through an area where I can easily step back and sort of step to the left. Here I start to tilt a little bit because I want to deal with this Roadhog. This Roadhog, all he's doing is walking around my barrier, and he's doing it for free. Like, we need to be punishing that. Luckily, he does go down, so someone did do some damage into him. I think the 2 supports did. McCree flashbangs me, but there's no follow-up. And again, trying to, like, please deal damage to him. Where's the team damage? This is where Reinhardt needs a rear view mirror, because I can't see behind me. He gets the charge off. I'm just going to ignore him for now. I want to block that high noon damage. Unfortunately, Reinhardt gets behind me, has an Earth Shatter, drops it, and everyone gets taken out. We lose this point, but still, it's honestly not that disastrous, because the final point is, of course, where you're trying to hold King's Row, but King's Row, an offensive bias map. Like, let's be honest here, a lot of these matches are going to go to the coin flip system. Can't wait for that to vanish. When it does, we'll all be singing, I don't know, singing hymns of joy, I guess. Charge the Reinhardt. I want to pull him into this room. That was actually intended and aimed to put him in there, because that puts him out of line of sight of the healer, which means that Anna can't heal him anymore. It means he's an easy kill for me to pick up. Also, my team can see him, so that should be easy job for us. Again, as the 2 tanks, we want to be advancing forward. Genji went up and left. I'm hoping someone's going to deal with him, because I can't when he's that far away. And now, this Reinhardt comes in on Nano Boost. What I want to do is catch him when he comes through that choke point. Unfortunately, I misunderestimate how fast he is. Like, well, I underestimate how fast he is, not misunderestimate. I underestimate how fast he is, and he just runs right past me. Like, I wanted to charge him as he was coming around that corner, and he just speeds on through. He doesn't give a shit. Jesus Christ, Nano Boost makes you move fast. Unfortunately, now we're in a really bad position because we're trying to come out. They've got a lot of ults ready as well, so I try and charge in, but Reinhardt, not Reinhardt there, is there. Roadhog is there with an ult, so he can just knock me all the way back, and I can't do anything, unfortunately. Still, it's all going to come down to the coin flip, right? Like, we've got to hold this for 3 minutes. That can happen, has happened occasionally, but it's very rare. So, okay, what side of the coin flip do we land on? I really actually wish it told you, specific to you in this screen, what side of the coin flip you're on, because it's fucked if I can remember what side I'm on. Like, am I red? Am I blue? I don't know. We're defending, if you're curious, and instantly, I tilt a little bit because we do get the Hanzo back. So this guy can only play Hanzo. Please don't do this in ranked. Just, if you can only play 1 or 2 heroes, diversify, for the love of God. Imagine if we pick more damage dealers. Like, what is this guy going to do? What is he going to actually do? Anyway, ranting about Hanzo aside, we're actually talking about our team lineup. This makes me happy. The guy asked Zen or Anna. I say probably Zenyatta, because they're probably going to run the Roadhog again. If they run one thing, like when that first assault they ran the Roadhog Reinhardt, they're probably going to run the same thing again. It's a safe guesstimate to make. Also, Zenyatta is just a little bit more reliable than Anna as well. So Zen feels pretty good. Also, the Zarya is asking, do I play Zarya or Roadhog? I say Zarya is fine, because if they do run Roadhog, Zarya is just a really good counter to that. Now, the important thing with defending on sudden death is, like I was playing conservatively before, well, I'm going to play even more conservatively now, because the moment we start losing people, we lose the match. Dying when you're defending on sudden death is the worst possible thing you can do. Dying in Overwatch is really bad anyway. Dying on defense and sudden death is horrendously bad, because your run distance is so huge. You only have like a minute 40. If you spend 30 seconds of that running back to the fight, then your team is effectively, just lost so much value. And if you die for a stupid reason without getting a good trade or good value, that's bad. And if they die, well, they have a 10-second run. They can get back really quickly. Hanzo spots out the Widow top. We know she's there. This guy wisely says hide. because we don't want to get picked. Like, what they're looking for with that Widowmaker is just a very quick pick, and if this Hanzo died, I would have tilted my tits off, let me tell you. I wouldn't have raged at him, I don't get angry at people in the game, but it would have made me angry out of the game. Still, I'm going to play conservatively. I'm going to play around this hotel. They're running Zarya this time. They've also got the Genji back, so the Genji's still playing Genji. Got to be a little bit careful with the Fire Strike. Deflect is down. I can throw the Fire Strike right through. They also do run the Roadhog as well, like you'll notice him in a second, I think. So they're running Zarya Roadhog. Now what I'm keeping an eye on is where are they positioning, where they're going. If they go through the hotel, I can wrap back to here, and hey, Lucio, like this is terrible positioning them by Lucio. I have no idea why he's that far forward. I want to punish this because removing one of their supports removes the longevity of their team. Hopefully he gets us some quick kills. I'm not going to go after that Roadhog though, that would be overextending and I would have died. Instead I'm just going to position here. Hopefully my team can do enough damage, and this is where I'm starting to get a little bit angry because we're just not dealing enough damage. And I try and charge the Zarya. Zarya backs up, does manage to get away. And I'm in so much danger here. We do manage to sort of, you know, get a little bit of extra health out there with the sound barrier, the bro shield, but again, the Topelstein catches me, I'm going to go down in it. Okay, that's not too bad. I still got a good amount of value out of my life, and the rest of the team manages to swing in and clean up. Now, the big thing here is you're noticing the ults getting called out. We still have all our ultimates. We have Graviton Surge, and we have Dragon Strike. And this is where I feel like a complete arsehole, because I've been like mentally giving this Hanzo shit all game, but look at the kill feed. Dragon Strike hits, and we win the sudden death because of it. Now, that's not to say that Hanzo was like the sole reason why we won that. Kind of the opposite, to be honest. Like, well, not the opposite. We won with him. Like, that was a really good ult. Really, really good ult from him. But there's no reason why we couldn't have had the same result with a Junkrat. You know, just bombing into a Graviton Surge. And again, this is where he just like barreled straight through, gets 3 people with the hammer strike. Jesus Christ. The Anna and Reinhardt played really well together. Like, that was really well done by them. But anyway, this has been a video about me playing Reinhardt on Kings Row. Reinhardt, very cerebral hero, very fun hero. Definitely recommend picking him up and learning him. Just make sure that you're paying attention to where you're positioning, where you're engaging, when are you fire striking, and are you ever overextending. Be critical of yourself. That's the big thing. Thanks for watching then. I've been Josh, as one voice amongst many. This has been a video covering Reinhardt and Kings Row. Doodles.